Finally. Let me scoot over here so I can get closer to y'all a little bit, huh? So y'all can see my little Hot Wheel car up there, my Back to the Future. Well. It's another week of college football. Like I like to say, it goes by like a blink of the eye. What is this, week 11? This is the November to remember, right? This is where the games everybody remembers, and we're heading into the home stretch of the last weekend. We got quite a few games on the slate that's going to be very important, but it's not finalized yet, and it's a small chance, but I may have a slight sponsorship with another really famous podcast. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of them or not, but they sent me a couple of these T-shirts right here. I don't know if you ever seen them or not, but yeah, that is the Hodge twins on YouTube. Thinking about they asked that I got a contact from one of their people, and they was talking about that they might want to actually have me on one of their shows or possibly help me out and give me some tips on how to make this thing bigger and better. I don't know what y'all think about the Hodge twins, but y'all give me your opinions on those in the comments section if you want to. We'll present screen here. See if y'all know who these guys are. I've watched them a few times on YouTube. They're pretty funny. There they are, the Hodge twins. Y'all check them out on YouTube. It's a great channel, great slant on politics and whatnot. Very comedic guys. Pretty good channel. They'll crack you up and whatnot. But who we got up in here so far? College Football with Jonathan Lewis says that he might pop in here in 10 minutes. Damn, the season's almost over, says Senator Ross. That is correct, Senator. Goes by like a blink of the eye. The Rhino 26 is in the house. Speaking of which, I got to get something up, Rhino. I got something for y'all. I'm going to have to edit it real quick for y'all so I can put this little banner up for you guys. Here we go. All right. There we go. Now back to the show. That's creeping and crawling across there is our VIP donors for the past month or two. Figured they'd like that little something there. But we also have Jack Acker in the house. Ryan Thibodeau's up in here. What's up, everyone? JPC, a.k.a. the OFC. What? It's the OCF, man, not the OFC. This ain't The Office, man. I know it's a good show to most people, but that's not The Office, man. Yeah, I remember that too, Jack. I think they did used to do workout videos. That's what my son was telling me. By the way, another prospective sponsor for the show, Waffle House. I get my coffee like it my Waffle House could. Today we're going to jump in here and talk about Oklahoma and Alabama and all these big games coming up. You got Georgia and Ole Miss. If Ole Miss beats Georgia, what does that do to the playoff picture? I was thinking today that there might be a scenario where the SEC, which the SEC has always had a participant in the playoffs ever since they've had the 14 playoff. But if Georgia were to lose to Ole Miss, and then Alabama turns around and beats Georgia in the SEC title game, if Georgia doesn't lose another game, then Alabama beats Georgia, and let's say that Texas and Oregon don't lose any games, as well as Florida State, do they keep the SEC out, since technically Alabama is still behind Oregon and Texas? And Texas beat Alabama head-to-head. So there is a scenario there, if Georgia were to drop a game in the regular season and then lose the SEC title game, that the SEC, for the first time ever, may get shut out of the playoff. What do y'all think about that? 1989 M's in the house, outlaw rods again. Woo! Yeah, I do. Yeah, the Hodge twins are certainly easy on the eyes. I don't swing that way, but if I was a female, I'd probably like the Hodge twins too, Becca. You're right. Now, wouldn't that be great if I was just if I was on the Hodge twins show and they started helping me with a few hookups and giving me some mentorship on some sponsorships and whatnot? I think me and the Hodge twins will make a good combination. What do y'all think? The Waffle House is some good stuff. Y'all see that Jack Acker's up in here when he says he does remember when they done work out. He's got his badge. He's deputized. We got a few badges up in here already. Becca has her badge, and she's lying crying. You can speak today. And then Waffle House coffee done burnt my damn tongue. So, I got some Oklahoma Sooner fans up in here. Wow. I've had some huge donations just pop up in here. The Rhino 26 comes through again with a huge, big donation, man. That's the fist bump guy right there. If you ever want to be on the show, Rhino, just hit me up, brother. I'm on Facebook under Jesse Paul Clark. It's spelled Jesse without the I. I'm also on Twitter at OCF Productions. If ever you want to be on the show, or anybody else in here, if you're not camera shy and you ever just want to be on the show, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes, just hit me up on one of those avenues, whether it be Facebook or Twitter. Now it's called X, and I'll make sure that I get you guys on the show. Got another donation up in here. Alice Stokes says, "Hi, Outlaw. I have missed a couple of shows, but I'm back. What's going on? I'm behind." Well, you know just as much as I do, Alice. The Sooners are on a slight losing streak. There were some pretty bad calls and questionable calls in that game, I must say. I figured that these referees would rear their ugly head eventually. And then there's a contingent of the fan base that don't really blame the referees, but they're really wanting to get rid of Jeff Lebby. Now, I'm not too sure if I agree with that, because I think that maybe Jeff Lebby needs to be allowed at least one more season here at Oklahoma to really make a judgment call on that. There is rumors out there that maybe Jeff Lebby's not happy at Oklahoma ever since the incident with his father-in-law. Now, I know he agreed not to have his father-in-law, a part of the program, and he came on the field after the game. So maybe Jeff just didn't understand exactly what the agreement was, and he thought, well, it's after the game, he can come on the field. That's old hat there. That's an old story, but I think that might be some of the angst that maybe Jeff is dealing with. But I just don't see Jeff as the entire problem for Oklahoma. A lot of Oklahoma fans disagree with me, but I really think that, it's a long football season. And what I think Oklahoma's real problem is, and it ain't offense, defense, coaching, any of that. It's human nature. A little bit too much of the human nature. Yes, your coach can tell you and assure you all you want that, hey, I got their mind straight. They're focusing in on the next game. They're not thinking about what they done last week. But I'm telling y'all, I really believe that big win over Texas really got into their heads a little bit. They read their press clippings a little bit. Y'all like to call it rat poison. So does Nick Saban. And they just hadn't come back down to earth quite yet, because that was a big win for Oklahoma. I mean, it wasn't just a big win, but this is a team that beat y'all 49-0 last year, and I just think that y'all have had a hard time coming to grips with that big win. I also think that, like a lot of people point out, there's been a lot of injuries on Oklahoma, but all football teams are having to deal with injuries this time of year, right? Mike M. says, Nick Anderson said that Lebby was not the problem, that the offense wasn't clicking. Well, I agree. But if I'm going to play devil's advocate to that point, Mike, I would say that isn't it Jeff Lebby's job to make the offense click? Then on the flip side of that, he can't go out there and make the plays for them, right? He can tell them what to do and coach them what to do, but if they don't go out there and do it, there's not much Jeff Lebby can do, right? Hank says, I blame the losses on missed tackles. Showing back up. Rhino26 says, OU playing scared, it seems like. I'm not all for the firing Lebby, but he needs to be more aggressive. Boomer and roll tide. Yeah, I could agree with that. I have seen some instances in the games that I have watched where Jeff was probably a little conservative. A lot of Oklahoma fans are upset with him because they feel like he backed off a little bit in that game against I guess it was it Kansas. We all made the interception late and just didn't even try to get a first down. A lot of people felt like that maybe he should have maybe at least threw one pass in that series. Tony Eubanks says, bro, Lebby is hands down the worst offensive coordinator in the country. He has no idea how to call plays. In Texas game, he called a horrible game. He just called a final series. Well, it's hard for me to understand that, Tony, because y'all scored 34 points. I know that maybe some of those points were maybe off of turnovers, but it's just hard for me to come to grips with the fact that before the Oklahoma State game, the three previous games, Oklahoma had scored over 30 points in all three games. So I'm like, is it entirely Jeff Lebby's fault? I think it's debatable. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that Jeff's not to blame some. I'm just saying that he's not the total blame here. The CEO of the team is Brent Venables. He has veto power over everything, whether it be offense, defense, punting. He has veto power. Mike Wilkerson says, let's see what Lebby is about when Jackson Arnold is the starter. I can't get to all these comments that are on here. If y'all want to get your comment highlighted, like Rhino26 did, and Alice Stokes. Alice Stokes, she highlighted her comment and she sent it. If you want to do that, there's a little money dollar sign at the bottom down here of this video. Just click on that, type out your comment, and then hit send. Because if you hit send first, you won't get your comment put up. It'll just be a blank thing. Make a little donation to the show too as well. Yes, BV is the CEO. That's what I said. Here we go with the days of our lives shit. Got 28 people up in here in the house. If y'all don't mind, jump out and smash that like button. And it'll push it to the algorithm a lot better for me. And it'll get more people up in here, and we'll get this party crunk a little bit bigger. We've had upwards of 153 people in here before. So if you jump out of the chat, just 5 seconds, smash the like button, share it to your friends, and let's get this party crunk up. So there's rumors that if Oklahoma were to win out, which I think they possibly could, that you might see Oklahoma and USC match up in a bowl game. Now that USC's lost 3 games and Oklahoma's lost 2 games, there's murmurings out there that Oklahoma may be in line to be matched up with USC in the Alamo Bowl. What do y'all think about that? Apex Gaming in the house. Yo, what's up, Outlaw? Hope you are all doing well. My dad is about to hype up everyone here, so get ready. I'm ready. When's he coming, man? He's like one of them wrestlers that you ain't seen in a while. He's the mystery entrance into the Royal Rumble. The mystery entrance into the Royal Rumble. Is it Heath Stokes? Is it the great Heath Stokes coming back? Mike Wilkerson says, I love Drake Stoops' interview with that reporter. Yeah, that was pretty epic. I looked at him, man. I looked at Drake Stoops. I'm like, damn. You can tell he wasn't from the milk, man. That dude looks like he was straight drug out of Bob Stoops' ass. He looks just like Bob Stoops in the face, man. Just like him. And he's got red, sort of reddish hair, but his face looks just like Bob Stoops, man. If USC loses to both Oregon and Washington, that'll make them 7-5, and they'd be in the Holiday Bowl at best, says Jack Ecker. That's a pretty good bowl, ain't it? Holiday Bowl's in San Diego. That'd be a great trip. I'd love to go to San Diego. If they ever go to California, I was told by my friend Jonathan Lewis of college football, Jonathan Lewis, that San Diego is a place to go if you're ever in California. Also, as you know, we got Georgia and Ole Miss this week, as I mentioned earlier. What do y'all think about that game? Y'all think that Georgia's winning streak will finally be snapped? What is it at now? 26, 27 in a row that Georgia's won? Y'all help me out with that. You're creeping up there on Oklahoma's old 47-game win streak. Y'all better be rooting for Ole Miss. I'm sort of torn because I would like to be the team that beats Georgia, the first team to beat Georgia, to break their snap their little illustrious streak as an Alabama fan. But I'd also like to see Ole Miss win just because I like Ole Miss. And I like Lane Kiffin. If we didn't have divisions this year, Ole Miss could beat Georgia and get a rematch with Alabama. But we still got divisions, which are stupid. So we'll see. Wouldn't be good to see an Alabama-Ole Miss rematch, though. But it looks like more likely it's going to be Georgia and Alabama. Even if Georgia loses to Ole Miss, they're still probably going to go to the SEC title game. Unless, of course, they lose. I'm not sure who they play after Tennessee. If they were to lose to Tennessee, too, we might have some issues then. Got another big donations from the Stokes clan. A season always has ups and downs. The reality is Oklahoma is going in the right direction. Expectations need to be real. Lost a couple of tough road games. BV and Levy are just fine. Let it play out. Amen. Hallelujah. Roll Tide and Boomer Sooner. I love that. That was a good one, Heath. That's some good stuff, brother. Coming from the Heath master. Oh, Heath stuff. What you gonna do when Heath runs wild on you, right? Y'all Hulk Hogan fans in there? Any Hulksters up in here? I don't know. You tell me. Got another Oregon. Here's our resident Oregon guys in the house. Don't worry, the Ducks will be. Don't worry, the Ducks will make sure to put a boot up Tebow's ass. Woo! We got everybody calling him Tebow now. Are y'all proud of yourself for that? I just wonder, are y'all proud of traumatizing poor old Lincoln Riley, man? He was in his house that was fortified with a 17-foot wall with 4 cop cars out patrolling the roads, and still he felt unsafe. He had to take his kids out of school and leave in a secret jet to go to USC. And now y'all call him Tebow, man. Y'all gonna traumatize that man. He ain't gonna be able to do anything, man. He won't even be able to go punt. He won't even be able to go coach for Killer Breeze's favorite team in the Japanese American Football League. Y'all keep on, man. Y'all gonna have him in a Bryce Hospital out here in Tuscaloosa where the mental patients are. Y'all keep on calling him Tebow, man. By the way, if you're new to this channel, TBOW, not Tim Tebow, because he's a great man. TBOW is the acronym that Oklahoma fans use to describe Lincoln Riley, and it stands for That Bitch Out West. And it's traumatizing. I try to tell them, take it easy on him a little bit, man. You know, don't call them skittle shitters all the time. You got to give him a little slack, right? I mean, look, man. Caleb's over there crying in his mama's lap, heaving and like someone just passed away in his family. Y'all gonna have to stop traumatizing that man. No, Lori, I don't know who invented that acronym for Lincoln Riley, but that would be a good question to find out and figure out. Jack Ecker says if Georgia goes undefeated in the regular season, I hope the Ducks make the playoffs and becomes the first team to beat them and avenge that embarrassment loss last season. Well, Jack, I can't say that I agree with you because I want Alabama to beat Georgia. Yeah, you tell her she's tardy again, Lori. That's tardy. You know, in school you had like what? I think it was 4 tardies. If you was tardy 4 times, Lori, what'd you get? When I went to school, they used to get that paddle out. They'd give you a choice. You can either get the paddle with the holes in it, get 2 licks, or you could get detention later on that day, stay over. I always took the paddle because I wanted to get home. But you tell her she keeps on acting up and being tardy for class, she's going to get that paddle. Alpha Dragon Gaming just gifted out 5 Outlaw of College Football memberships. Woo! Damn, I have to give out 5 badges, man. It's going to be a big-ass posse for real. And if you want to get your badge, you get deputized like all these other guys in here, like Alpha Dragon Gaming did for 5 people. All you got to do is hit that join button next to the subscribe button, and it'll sign you up. And it's not but, I got sort of sidetracked, not but $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. That's just a bottle of water for the Outlaw. You'll get your badge, you'll be deputized, you'll get a random 4 Horsemen shout out on the podcast or possibly on this live stream as well. I've done some shout outs on the last live stream. So I'll make sure to, if I do a podcast tomorrow, I'll make sure to make those shout outs, or I'll wait to do it on the next live stream, which will probably be on a Sunday. But yeah, you can you'll get your badge and get deputized. Now, if you're on a Apple phone, I think you have to go to your laptop or your computer because it doesn't mesh with YouTube memberships. Mike M with a big $21 donation. Never seen 21 before. That's pretty awesome. I think he just upped you by $1, Heath Stokes. He pulled that Price is Right shit. You know, you be watching Price is Right, and they're just like, they start bidding $1 more than the next person to just block them. Man, I used to hate that shit, man. I was just like, well, damn, if you think about it, everybody should do that, right? You should just, if you're the last one bidding, you should just bid $1 more than everybody and hope that they didn't overbid, right? And then there'd be that one person that'd bid just $1. I don't know where Killer is, Lori. Tell him to get his ass in here. J.D. Wilmoth is trying to give some solace to the one they call Mary Caleb Williams Fingernails. Or maybe we should be calling him Tebow Jr. Like Arsenio Hall used to say, things that make you go, So, Oklahoma plays West Virginia this week, right? I saw some good stuff on that earlier. I think Oklahoma, since West Virginia has joined the Big 12, Oklahoma leads the series between Oklahoma and West Virginia 9-1 since they joined the Big 12. I think overall, West Virginia may have beaten y'all, 3 times? Out of what, I can't remember the exact number. It's like 14-3 or 17-3 or something like that. From what I understand, West Virginia's offense has been coming around a little bit. I think they got a pretty good running back. There's a wide receiver that's been mentioned as possibly a Heisman candidate. So Oklahoma's defense will be tested rather well this week with West Virginia. Just hoping that y'all can put up enough points this week to beat them. By the way, how is Danny Stutzman doing? Does anybody know what the status is on Danny Stutzman out there? I haven't seen yet. Ryan Thibodeau says you must be a Canadian donating $21. Maybe he did. Maybe Mike M. Give me an extra $1 because he's giving it to me in Canadian money. And Teresa Moser is finally in the house. Tardy to school again. Yeah, he knows because I told him a while ago, if you get 4 tardies to class, back in the day, you got a paddling. Get one of them air hole paddles, got the little holes in it, so you can get a good swoosh on it. You're going to get that paddle. I think that's your 3rd tardy. Next time around, you're going to get the paddle. Becca has thought, says Stutz has practiced this week, so we shall see. Well, let's hope he's okay, because a lot of people have been pointing to the fact that the defense has been banged up, and that's the reason why y'all been giving up about 31 points a game the last 4 games. Now, the next game I'd like to talk about is USC and Oregon. Will USC stop their skid this week? Can they pull the upset? They almost pulled the upset against Washington. People act like Washington dominated them game, but it's 52-42. So it's not like Washington just beat the shit out of them. Oregon really needs this game. Oregon really, really needs this game in order to keep pace with Washington. I think the Pac-12 done away with divisions. So if Oregon wins out, Rye Guy 1812, help me out with this. If Oregon wins out, then Oregon would play Washington rematch, and the winner would more than likely go to the college football playoff if neither one of them lose in between here and there. Does USC stand a chance this week? Could they pull the biggest upset this year for Mary Caleb Williams? That would be a good win to maybe right the ship a little bit for the Skittle Shitters. But I'll be honest with you, I hope it doesn't happen. I really do. Got another donation coming up in here. I've got a bit more going here. 20. Anybody got 20? Anybody 20, 20, 21? Anybody got 21, 22, and 22, 23? Heath Stokes, $23. $23 donation from Heath Stokes. Says he up Mike by 2. Who's going to up me by 3? Come on, don't be cheap. Donate. Keep the outlaw in business. Yeah. I've been dragging here a little bit lately, Heath. I ain't going to lie, man. I might be ending up coming out there to Oklahoma and getting a job with you, brother. Wouldn't that be something? Stutzman, she said that Stutzman was practicing this week, Jack Ecker, so I don't know. What do y'all think about the USC Oregon game? Does USC have a chance in the world? I don't think so. Oregon's defense to me is a lot better than Washington's. I don't think they'll give up 42 points to USC. I could be wrong. But I don't know. I see Oregon probably going to win that game. If Oregon gets out to a fast start, I would really expect that USC will roll over. If USC can stay in the game until the late third, early fourth quarter, well, then you might have some issues. But I don't see it happening. I think Oregon will probably win this game rather easily. Maybe 14, maybe 21 points, maybe even 28 points. What do y'all think? Senator Ross says he hopes Oregon doesn't mess around and get beat by USC. Well, at this point, I'm good with whatever happens here forward with USC because they've already incurred 3 losses. 3 losses puts the Skittle Shitters out of the playoffs. There's no chance in hell whatsoever. Now, they had 2 losses, and they're basically out of it. But there was still that small slither of hope from the USC people out there that if they were to win out, go to the Pac-12 title game, and have a bunch of people lose, that they could somehow sneak into the playoffs. That's not going to happen now. And that's why Caleb Williams basically lost his bowels over there and wet his diaper on his mama. I bet she had to change his diaper after the game. I would venture to guess, if I had to bet, he probably rashed up a little bit. Yes, the Ducks would play the Huskies in the championship game. I think that if Oregon does get a rematch with Washington, and there's nothing wrong with going for it on the 4th down. I'm not saying just go conservative, not go for it on 4th down this time around. I'm just saying that this time, let's be a little more picky and pick our spots, Oregon, when you go for it on 4th down. Don't go on 4th down 4 or 5 times. Just pick you 1 or 2 times to do it. 4th and 1, preferably. But without all those 4th down attempts, I think Oregon would have won that game against Washington. But, you can't blame Dan Lanning for trying to be aggressive and show everybody he was there to win. And that's what he's doing. Dan Lanning's just a very fiery guy, and it would not surprise me that when Nick Saban retires, if Alabama did not go after Dan Lanning, considering Dan Lanning, I think, was like an analyst or a graduate assistant or some kind of an assistant out here at Alabama for a short time, and then he left with Kirby. He went to Georgia, and then he ended up with the Oregon Ducks. Also, my team, Alabama, is playing this week. Alabama plays Kentucky this week on the road in Lexington. Alabama just come off of a big emotional win over LSU. So is it possible that Alabama could be, looking ahead to Auburn, their biggest rival? Could be. Plus, like I said, coming off an emotional win like that against LSU and not really getting a week off, it might be a prime spot for Kentucky to catch Alabama looking ahead. Sort of like I said, I think that sort of happened with Oklahoma. They beat Texas, and just like young men do, they get a little full of themselves and start reading their press clippings and don't take it as seriously. I think you just roll out the Oklahoma name and win every game after beating Texas. That's what I think maybe crept into their minds a little bit. What do y'all think? Y'all don't mind, jump out of the chat for me and smash that like button. It pushes the algorithm. Get more people up in here. That way we can get this party crunk, talk a little more college football. Also, as you know, the whole Michigan scandal is going on as well. We had 1989 M in here earlier. He's a Michigan guy. I don't see him in here anymore, but what do y'all feel about that? What do y'all feel about the whole Michigan fiasco? At first, when it came out, I didn't know whether to take it seriously or not, whether it was really that big of a deal. But the more I find out about it, the more I'm starting to realize that maybe this is probably one of the biggest scandals in quite some time in college football. It's almost, I guess, sort of like the whole Pete Rose thing, maybe. I don't know. In baseball, y'all remember that. Should Michigan go ahead and take some penalties now? Should they go ahead and self-impose and, take themselves out of the college football playoff conversation? Should they take themselves out of bowl contention? There's rumors that the Big Ten, who has the authority to punish them without the NCAA, may come in and punish them anyway. Even if the NCAA drags their feet and doesn't punish Michigan this year, they're saying that the Big Ten can come in and punish Michigan themselves. See, because that's where the real angst is. A lot of the Big Ten membership are the ones that reported Michigan, and they're the ones that want something done post-haste. Not this dragging of the feet like the NCAA is so famous for doing for years and years. Go ahead and get some penalties now. And Michigan's threatening the Big Ten that if they do come with penalties now and don't wait for the process of the NCAA investigation to play out, then they're going to sue the Big Ten. I think they might do more harm than good to the program long term. I know they want to play for the national championship this year because they have a good team. But bigger picture, long term, is it worth 3 or 4 years down the road getting just hammered by the NCAA and the Big Ten and, making your program slip for maybe 5, maybe even 10 years, as opposed to just having one great championship year? I mean, what would y'all do? Would you give up 5 bad seasons in a row for one national championship? That should be a poll. Would y'all do that? If someone come to you and said, hey, you can have one national championship, but you're going to have 5 bad seasons in a row, which one would y'all choose? The one national championship, or would you have 5 bad seasons? Ryan Thibodeau seems to think Harbaugh is gone. I tend to agree with you, Ryan. You have to get me some of them LSU coon asses up in here, Ryan. You give me some of them corn dogs up in here, brother. Where they all at? Where's old Amy? Remember Amy? I should play her clip in here. Well, she was screaming at me and Rich, man. She like lost her noodle. She did lose a noodle, I think. Sooner All says, I don't care about Michigan. All these teams pushed the limits. It was probably Ohio State who ratted them out. Yeah, well, I heard that Purdue and Rutgers, especially Rutgers, Greg Schiano is real educated on stuff like that. He's been around a lot of it with the Patriots and some other NFL teams. So some people said Greg Schiano ratted them out a little bit. Purdue, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Ohio State all ratted him out. So if all those teams are pissed off about it, then maybe the Big Ten should do something. Let them threaten to sue, because I don't think they're going to win. Even if Michigan sues, I don't think they got a leg to stand on, do you? Copenhagen's in the house. Always good to see Copenhagen. Spot on, Outlaw. That's why Texas has been a disappointment since 2009, because they think the logo on their helmet is all that matters, and they've ran coaches off too fast. Just say that is true. Let's not slip into the Texas mode. Let's not knee-jerk reaction and run off Jeff Lebby, run off Brent Venables. Let's give it a little bit of a process. Like I said before, 1,000 times, Brent Venables came in at a very historically different time in college coaching circles. No first-year coach, except for the coaches that were hired the same year that Brent Venables was hired 2 years ago, had to deal with the brand new immediate transfer portal and all this NIL crap. That stuff had never been dealt with by anybody, not even Nick Saban or Bear Bryant or Barry Switzer or any of those famous coaches that ever had to deal with being their first year having an immediate transfer portal available to the former coach, that being Lincoln Riley. And he was able to go in there and raid and just pillage Oklahoma and basically undermine their entire program as he went out. All these other coaches that came in after a successor didn't have to deal with that. They didn't have to worry about the former coach coming in and raiding their team, because back in the day, you had to wait a full year. You had to sit out a year. You couldn't immediately transfer. And Lincoln Riley knew that shit. And him and Caleb Williams, as I've said before, I've told this story 1,000 times, they got together. I don't care what they say. They lied if they say they didn't. Him and his daddy, Caleb Williams' daddy, they got together and said, look, we're going to try to make this look like not so obvious. So, Caleb Williams is going to go to Wisconsin and do a visit and pretend like he's interested in Wisconsin. We all knew that was horseshit. I did. Some people may not. They might have been naive to believe that. And then Lincoln Riley said probably the most asinine thing I ever heard him say in all this. He said, I'm not recruiting Oklahoma players. I'm recruiting transfer portal players. Well, no shit, ding-a-ling. But they're all Oklahoma players. And that's the problem I have with Lincoln Riley. He's always saying stuff to insult our intelligence. Like the whole retarded stuff that him and Colin Coward conjured up about you can't recruit to Oklahoma. And what kind of stupid shit is that? As long as Colin Coward's been doing this, and he really going to say that? You don't know your college football history enough to know that Oklahoma is a blue blood and they've been recruiting 5-star and 4-star athletes since the beginning of time in college football? Oklahoma's going to be in trouble because they're a small state. Oklahoma's never been confined to the state of Oklahoma. Just because they go to the SEC doesn't mean they're going to magically lose their Texas connections. Oklahoma's recruited Texas and California and Florida for over 100 years, man. Just dumb shit, man. Y'all don't get me on a soapbox here. I don't even know what I was talking about now. Lori, I have so much going on too. My brother's squared away. A little time for myself. Oh, okay. Yeah. How's your brother doing? Mike Wilkerson's brother, if y'all don't know, if y'all haven't been in here before, his brother's house burnt down. So y'all continue to keep Mike's brother in your prayers. Guy says, if anything, Oklahoma and Texas recruiting pipeline will get bigger because they're going to the SEC. Exactly. Ding, ding, ding. Tell them what Rod Guy has won. You have won of being a college football fan that just has common sense award. Because that's all it takes is common sense to realize that Oklahoma coming to the SEC is not going to hurt their recruitment. Nebraska, they try to compare them to Nebraska. Nebraska screwed themselves because they give up their pipeline. The Texas pipeline was there for Nebraska because they were in a Big 12 conference, and their kids could play before, at a venue where their families could travel to. When they joined the Big 10, now, they got all their kids that they're playing in states like Pennsylvania and New York and New Jersey and Michigan. Families don't want to travel all the way over there. What's up, Outlaw? Says Kane Reed's in the house. Fred Bagley's in here with his badge. I've said since the first loss, experience for the team, patience for the fans. We go 6-0, and too many started thinking it was Bob's start. This was never going to be our year. Yeah, I admit, Fred, I was sort of looking at it too and saying, this looks sort of familiar. Sort of looks like Bob Stoops' second year. But if you come to realize that the parity now in college football has become so profound that back in Bob's day, the parity wasn't as great, I don't think, when he went in the second year. I could be wrong about that. Now, Kansas State was starting to win at a pretty high rate at that time. But I don't know, man, with the immediate transfer portal and NIL and transfer portal and all that crap, it's a lot more. It's a lot more to deal with and a lot harder to keep these kids, as they like to call them kids. I don't call them kids. I try not to. I'm getting to where I do it because everybody else does it. These young men, it's hard to keep them focused, man, from week to week in college football. Don't be surprised. I know we got 5 undefeated, actually 7, because Liberty and James Madison are undefeated, but they're not going anywhere. There's 5 major teams undefeated right now. I would not be surprised if all 5 of those teams catch a loss somewhere. It's just so hard to go undefeated, man. It's hard. It's hard to keep focused week in and week out. Apex Gaming says, Outlaw, enjoyed watching your live stream for a bit, but I'm heading off now. I hope everyone has a good night. Boomer Sooner and Roll Tide, brother. Back at you, Apex. Appreciate you coming in here and being a part of the show. By the way, Apex, check out Kane Reed. He has a gaming channel, and I believe you and him will have a lot in common. So check out Kane Reed. Fred Bagley says, exactly, Outlaw. Bob didn't deal with a gutted roster. That's a good word for it. I was struggling to find a word, but gutted is a very good word. No coach has ever had to deal with that. No coach in the history of college football has ever had to deal with a roster that was open season. It was open season on Oklahoma's roster, man. And other coaches that were hired their first year in, they had to deal with it too somewhat, but not at the level that Brent Venables had to, because Oklahoma had a lot of great prize players on their team, wide receivers and quarterbacks, that a lot of people coveted. And with immediate transfer portal in place, people can just send little flyers to them. You're not allowed to talk to them and tamper with them, but if nobody knows that you tampered with them, then why shouldn't you do it? And that's what Lincoln Riley did. He's like, they can't prove I'm tampering, so I'm going to tamper. And that's what he did. He said, well, you can't prove that, Outlaw. We don't have to, because this ain't a court of law. This is just the court of the posse. We make our own decisions in here. My decision, based on what I seen, is he tampered with Oklahoma's roster. And they got to put some laws in place or some rules in place to make it a little more stringent, a little easier, a little harder for teams to raid their former team, especially a coach like that going to another Power 5 team like USC makes it real easy to just do a lot of harm to his former team. Jeff Payton in the house says, well, we will see about James Madison. They have filed appeal on the bowl rule. Yeah, James Madison and Liberty may get in the bowl. I just don't know if they're going to be ranked high enough to get that power, what is it, like a New Year's Six bowl. Jeff, I don't know what the rule is now. I think you used to have to be ranked a certain rank to get a New Year's Six bowl if you were a G5 school. So how high does a G5 school have to be ranked now in order to get a New Year's Six bid? I think it was like 12th at one time, right? And they may have done away with that, and it may be just the highest ranked G5 school automatically gets a New Year's 6-day bid. That may be the rule now. I'm not sure, Jeff. You tell me. Jack Acker says, by his untrained eyes, Cal is USC's last win of the season. So you think the Skittle Shitters are going to lose out, is basically what you're saying, Jack, right? No more wins for the Skittle Shitters. Caleb Williams, they're going to have to put him in the mental hospital, man, if he keeps that stuff up. It's one thing to cry, man, and it's another thing to be over and have your body just contorting and looking like you're spazzing out and like you just lost a family relative or something, man. And a little crying, everybody cries every once in a while, but damn, that was some straight up, I don't know how to describe it, man. I thought someone done died or something. Ryan Thibodeau says LSU had 39 scholarship players return in 2021. It's been crazy. Also, there's a lot of comments coming in here. I'm not able to get to every single one of y'all's comments. If you want to get your comment highlighted and pushed to the top, and you want me to read it out and address your question, there's a little money dollar sign at the bottom of this video. Click on that, write your comment out, and send it, and I will read it out as soon as I see it. I know, yeah, Tulane was last year. Was Tulane ranked in the top 12, Ryan? Jeff Payton says through the 2023 season, each conference champion from the Power 5 and the highest ranked bowl group of 5 conference champions guaranteed a spot in a New Year's Six bowl. Okay, so it doesn't have to be 12th ranked anymore or higher, right? Is that what you're telling me? Also, I got to get my obligatory shot in at the Con Time groupies out there. Con Time Deion Sanders. He's 4-5 now. Will Con Time win another game? Or will he lose out just like the Skittle Shitters? I mean, I feel prophetic in a way. I almost feel like Nostradamus in here. With Con Time losing his bowels and, Lincoln Riley and the Skittle Shitters basically just calling it in. I don't know, man. You tell me, will Con Time Deion Sanders win another game? Or will he be crying after each and every game for the rest of the season? Because they play Arizona this week. When I looked at their schedule a few weeks back when he was like 4-2 or 4-3, I was like, they might lose out, but then there's an Arizona game. Because I didn't think Arizona was that good this year. But Arizona's turned out to be a decent team. I think Arizona's like 6-3 right now, right? So they could lose out. And all those Con Time groupies, they're going to be on suicide watch, I do believe. They're going to be taking that poster down off their ceiling that they was peeling their tater to, for damn sure. Matter of fact, I think I saw Con Time today. I took a picture of them. Y'all want to see it? Let's bring up Con Time real quick so y'all can see what Con Time's looking like these days. There he is. Oh, Con Time. Look, he's crying about as bad as old Mary Caleb Williams, man. Look at him. Damn. And I saw Jason Whitlock's show today. Jason Whitlock was basically saying that Con time is all about his sons, and it's fine to want to see your son succeed and be all about making your son successful, but not at the expense and to basically hurt an entire university. And I think that's what he's done to Colorado, man. He's trying to push him and get his stats so racked up that he'll go real high in the draft, and he's just doing it at everybody's expense, which is just con time. He's a very selfish individual, and that's what he does. He cons people. That's what he's always been a con man. He was a great defensive back, but wasn't a great tackler. But old con time plays Arizona this week, and I fully expect him to lose that game. What about y'all? Ian Hintz is in the house, says I'm number one. I appreciate that. Ryan Thibodeau says that Tulane was 12th or 13th last year. So maybe it is 12th or higher. I mean, Liberty or James Madison in the New Year's Six Bowl, man, whoever has to play them would probably be really pissed off, man. Because that would be you probably wouldn't get very many ratings off that game. Whoever has to play James Madison or Liberty, because they really don't have a name. At least with Tulane, the average college fan's heard of Tulane, right? Yeah, and Jason Whitlock was also talking about something else, Fred. Just look what he's doing to Travis Hunter. The boy got injured and was out for a few weeks. I can't remember what kind of injury it was. It might have been concussion protocol. I'm sure I don't remember. But as soon as he comes back from injury, he puts Travis Hunter out there for 140 snaps against Stanford. And by the second half, the boy's gassed, and he's just getting eat up by the Stanford wide receivers because he's gassed. And the only reason con time is allowing Travis Hunter to play that many snaps is, you know why? Because it helps his son have another receiver. But he's doing it at the expense of Travis Hunter's health. Once again, putting other people in harm's way to better himself and his son over a sport. That's what I'm saying. He's a con man. He done con Travis Hunter, conned a bunch of people, but the con is up. And we're seeing it right now. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he quit after this year. What do y'all think? Over and under. How many years? 2? 3? How many years do you think con time Deion Sanders stays at Colorado? Jack Acker says, serious question, OCF. Deion is an ex-NFL player and has one of his sons as quarterback, so why did he not seem to think about recruiting a stout offensive line to protect his boy? Is he that dense? Yeah, I think he is that dense. As a matter of fact, I think he thinks that he can go to the transfer portal and get everything he needs, because everybody's talking about how great his transfer portal class is, and as I've said numerous times, ad nauseum, the transfer portal is a bad way to build a team. It's a good way to fill needs if for some reason you had a rash of injuries at one spot and you lost a few scholarships at one position. But as far as building your team on transfer portal, you're asking for it, man. It's a recipe for disaster. You've got to be able to recruit high quality high school players. And Deion Sanders hasn't been able to do that, Jack, at all. And it's going to come back and bite him. You watch and see. Sisyphus JWK is in the house. Just came in listening to some unreleased Van Halen. Well, now, I'd like to hear that, brother. Send that on to me at on my Twitter at OCF Productions. I'm a big Van Halen fan. I like me some Van Halen. What about y'all? Tobin Bradshaw's in the house as well. Says, hey, Outlaw, what's going on, brother? Richard Young says, slime time is going to get them young guys hurt. Exactly my point. I think he will end up getting more people hurt. He's already got Travis Hunter hurt. Yeah, I know He's not the one that made the hit. The Colorado State guy did. Colorado State guy's the one that made the hit. But the point is, no player should be playing 140 snaps. And if you say, oh, well, Travis Hunter said that's what he wanted to do. Travis Hunter's a young man that it doesn't really know how to make those kind of decisions quite yet, time Deion Sanders. It's your job as a coach and as an adult to know better, an older, more mature adult, supposedly, to tell him, no, you cannot play all those snaps. Now, to bring him in as a gimmick player every once in a while, that's no big deal. You know, a lot of players have done that. Tim Brown did it back in the day. You know, Charles Woodson from Michigan done it. But Charles Woodson didn't come in and play no 140 snaps two ways. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to get your comment pushed to the top, of so many comments coming in here. There's a little money dollar sign at the bottom down here. Click on that. Write your comment out. Send it on and make a donation to the show. It'll help us out as well. So now that y'all know y'all tired of looking at Deion, so I'm going to take his crying ass off of there because that's all he's been doing lately is crying, talking about receipts. Receipts? Really, Deion? Really, time Deion? Only one needs a receipt is Colorado. They need a refund. And y'all believe that Colorado actually offered him a lifetime contract? You're talking about knee-jerk reactions. That's the problem with these coaching hires these days. They want to give too many years and too much money to these guys. That's what's happened with Jimbo Fisher. He got lazy. They gave him this big contract for, what was it, $110 million over 10 years or something? And it was guaranteed. So that means he could just come in there and go 5-7 like he did a year ago and still get paid. Woo! Another big donation coming in. This one from Sisyphus JWK. I don't see a comment with that, Sisyphus, but if you want to put a comment down here somewhere, I'll make sure I get to that and try to read it out, brother. Once again, if y'all want to send a donation like Sisyphus JWK, hit the money dollar sign at the bottom of this video, but type your comment out first and then hit send. So I want to go back to one thing before I get up out of here. Georgia versus Ole Miss. What do y'all think their chances is? Ole Miss, now if they was playing in Ole Miss, I think that Ole Miss can win this game. But because it's in Georgia, man, once again, Georgia's lucked out in the draw of the home and homes. And the fighting Lane Kiffins are coming into Athens. Do you think that this is the week that Georgia's winning streak finally ends? Yay or nay? Heath Stokes with a big $13 donation. Y'all putting in some weird donations tonight. Since nobody will up me by 3, well, you know, Heath Sisyphus just upped you by 27. Sisyphus just upped you by 27, didn't he? Since nobody will up me by 3, I'll cover it. Good night, Outlaw. Please donate. Keep this show flowing. Thanks for the uncensored opinions. I appreciate you being on here, Heath, as always, brother. Give me a call sometimes. You got my phone number. You said you wanted to talk about a few things the other night, and I never did get back with you on that. I apologize. Yeah. Just call me sometimes, maybe tomorrow or after the show if you're still up, and I'll talk to you, brother. And, hell, I might be coming to work for you. Once again, you see people in here with their badges like Fred Bagley and Rye Guy 1812 and Jack Acker. If you want to get your badge like they did, get deputized, all you got to do is hit the join button next to the subscribe button. It's $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. You get your badge, you get deputized, you get your random Four Horsemen shout out on the podcast or possibly on here as well. And also maybe be the comment of the day whenever I do that. All right, brothers and sisters. It's been fun tonight, I must say. Y'all give me your score now. Oklahoma and West Virginia. I know we got a lot of Oklahoma people in here, so we're going to talk about it. Is Oklahoma going to stop the streak, the slight losing streak that they're on, or will they lose 3 in a row? Are they going to right the ship this week against West Virginia? I think they can. If Stutzman plays, I really think they can. They're going to have to maybe outscore West Virginia if Stutzman's not in the game. But I'm hoping to see Oklahoma turn this thing around and possibly win this game this week. I don't know, maybe we'll say 37-24, Oklahoma. What do you think? Yes, I did. I invited a bunch of people to join our group over there. That Teresa, shit, I can't talk tonight. Teresa created a Facebook group, by the way. If y'all want to join it, it's called the OCF Posse on Facebook. Just look it up on Facebook, OCF Posse, and she'll approve your membership. We're trying to get a little side party started. So, Sisyphus JWK says 35-23, Oklahoma. Fred Bagley says 38-24. Ian Hint says 38-20, Oklahoma. Mike M says 48-27, Oklahoma. Copenhagen says 42-34, Oklahoma. So the consensus right now seems like Oklahoma is going to bounce back from the 2-game losing streak. I think if they win another game, it'll start them on another winning streak, sort of like last year, on into the bowl season. Except this year, I think if y'all go to the bowl, which y'all will, y'all will more than likely win your bowl game this year, in my opinion. Hopefully end up 10-2, would be 10-2 or 11-2. I think that'd be a successful second year. All right, Georgia and Ole Miss. Give me y'all's pick on Georgia and Ole Miss and Alabama and Kentucky. Pretty obvious who a lot of people probably going to take Alabama over Kentucky, although I'm worried about Alabama coming off that LSU game. Does Ole Miss have a chance? Anybody, everybody, let me know. Also, Michigan plays Penn State this week. Will Michigan be able to beat Penn State without having their signals? We shall see. It's in Penn State. Do not be surprised with all this stuff going on that Penn State does not pull the upset. I don't even really know if you can call it upset. Penn State is in the top 10. But don't be surprised if Penn State beats Michigan this week, in my opinion. What do y'all think? Drop in the comment section. Copenhagen says Oklahoma State fans, that being Okie Pokey State, Okie Pokey State fans better hope OU doesn't win out and Texas doesn't lose. Yeah, that'd be a great rematch. Everybody talks about Oklahoma and Texas in a rematch game. A lot of Texas fans want that so they can avenge their loss. But what about an Oklahoma State rematch? That's never happened. I don't think Oklahoma and Oklahoma State have played 2 Bedlams in 1 year. Now, I know Oklahoma and Texas have played twice in 1 year before, but I don't think Oklahoma and Okie Pokey State have played twice in 1 year. But that's a great point, Copenhagen. I thought about that before and I forgot about it. I'm glad you brought it up. All right, guys. I'm going to get up out of here. As Teresa said, if you don't mind, you can join her little Facebook group that she created. It's called the OCF Posse. And we can maybe get together and get some tailgate parties started somewhere at a neutral site game or something. I don't know. But we could just set up something, right? It's called the OCF Posse. It's on Facebook. Look it up on there and join it if you get a chance. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.